ROC, restore our community. ROC, restore our community. ROC, restore our community. ROC, restore our community.
Wanda P's on a mission to ROC, restore our community. Assuming the task, taking on the responsibility. One block at a time, one young mind at a time. We have to strive.
I have my brother, Nicolai Taylor, with me. Hey, what's up, Nick?
Not too much. How are you doing?
It's been a minute. And I also have my friends and my brothers with me from Real Ministries, Dr. Houston Kennard.
Hey, I'm doing fine.
And
good to be on your show.
Good deal. And we have our other brother here, Dr. Cupid Poe. Guys, what's been going on? Tell our audience who you are. Let's kind of keep them up to date as to what's been happening.
Well, Wanda, it's been a while since we've been on your show, and I've been trying to get you back on your show. It is a pleasure to be with you. As you know, I'm a licensed psychological examiner here in the state of Tennessee, and we've opened up what we call Real Ministries. We are
What's the acronym?
Seminar. It's I knew you'd ask me that, but it's responsibility and love and accountability and all those things involved.
Okay.
I used to call it love, respect, and responsibility.
Okay.
But then we added some more to it. So,
Okay.
So it's respect, responsibility, accountability, empathy, and love. And I probably mixed those acronyms up, but I got them in there.
I didn't even follow you, so hey, whatever happened, hey.
But you know, that's what we are about, doing seminars on depression, suicide, anxiety, marital and family counseling, and all of those. If someone wanted us to do a tailor-made thing for them, we would be into doing that.
Wow, great deal.
Well, it's good to be on the show again, Wanda, and I feel very blessed to be a part of your ministry. We did some seminars at Greater Pleasant View Church.
Okay.
I think the last seminar was probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and our focus there was to train church leaders so that they could be in positions to assist the pastor, because most people know that the responsibility of being a pastor itself, in addition to the counseling responsibility, is just overwhelming.
Right.
And so we have a focus or interest in training lay members within the church to assist the pastor in counseling.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like you two have been really busy at work for the last year or two or so. What kind of time lag has there been?
Actually, the first session that we did, Nicolai, was in August of 2011. So we've been at this, 2 years now? We did our first session then, and we ran our sessions for, it's like, we tried to do them on a 4-week series, but what happened was it sort of lengthened, and people were so interested that we had to do longer sessions. So our first group of people came out. We had 31 recipients of certification through our training. And Dr. Cole has been so helpful with being able to assist us with what we're doing. And it's been a wonderful ride for us.
You know, I just really appreciate that. You know, we know some of the others weren't able to make it today to do this particular show, but I do really even understand more and more why we have to have come together, and God blessed you with the Real Ministries, and first to come together and talk to people who are grieving, because of course we watch the news. We know that people are just dying senselessly. We know within the church that people don't feel comfortable because the church has lost some of its savor, unfortunately, in the way that people can feel comfortable going to their pastor or going to someone that's qualified in the church to assist them in what's going on with them. So Real Ministries, I love what we were doing, even from the seminars that began in 2000 at Greater Pleasant View. So let's talk a little bit about what you guys offer, or what we offer, should I say, with the services with Real Ministries.
Well, it's, I guess primarily we offer seminars in various areas of mental health. As I said, we do sessions on depression, we do sessions on anxiety, we do sessions on marital counseling. And you know what? As quiet as it's kept, there's so many areas that we touch on once we are into a seminar that you know, we touch quite a few areas.
Right.
But I wanted to say that what was it, June 22nd, Dr. Cole, that we went to Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Right.
And we did a seminar on suicide and depression, a new perspective. And Dr. Poe actually carried out the seminar for us. And we had, what, around 16 people at that seminar. Miles Cason, he's a minister, Minister Miles Cason, actually set it up for us. We hosted it at Shoney's. Of course, you know about Shoney's. They were kind enough to allow us to use that facility. Of course, we ate.
Okay.
You know, that's one of the things my wife always tells me. Y'all just meet to eat. But it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, we break bread together,
Right.
and you know, you can
Meet
feel
with a
free
purpose.
and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that seminar, Dr. Poe may want to talk some about the stuff that we talked about in terms of you know, some of the statistics related to suicide.
Okay.
Marcus and Rhonda were there.
Okay.
And also Dr. Amelia Bryant.
Okay.
And we all talked about depression and suicide. And of course, Marcus, you know, he's
With the
working
teams,
with
right.
with
The
the
sheriff's
sheriff's department. And so he was able to bring a perspective from that. You cannot believe how many families are affected by depression when someone is incarcerated. And they have nobody to talk to. Well, at least they feel like they may not have anyone to talk to. But that was such an enriching experience, you know, for me.
And I was going to say, before Dr. Poe speaks on that, you are so right, Dr. Kennard, because there's an event coming up next month that I'll be part of one of the hosts down at Rocketown, Once in a Lifetime with Tiffany Love. We're going to have her on the show, also talking about this event with teen suicide and bullying. So this goes right into what you guys are talking about. And I will keep you informed, because we want, is the school, I think they're going to do it the week after school starts or something. But I'll get the dates, and we'll have her to come on and talk about the show. But this is interesting with teen suicide, and so Marcus also needs to get involved.
Yeah, I'd like to be a part of that, or at least get the chance to sit in on it.
I'll hook you up with her, because it's going to be a really great arena.
Well, that was tremendous, because I met this is a gentleman at the Interdenominational Ministers Fellowship. He was the presiding elder over the South National District. I'm trying to think, he's my cousin, and I run the block on his thing. But at any rate,
everybody.
you know, the situation is that you know, I don't even know it anymore. No, seriously. But listen, and Dr. Cole's going to talk on that depression and suicide in a moment. But I wanted to say that it is so significant that you're talking about, you know, teen suicide and depression, because there are so many teens, as you know, probably do not have the awareness to be able to talk to adults or their parents. Or, you know, they only get from their friends. Okay, so, well, you know, it's okay to get information from your friends, you know, your peer groups, you know how that is. But the bullying part and the depression part, sometimes they need a professional.
They are doing.
And we offer through Real Ministries,
Right.
and through our own private practices, we offer another resource in the community that we would really like for people to take advantage of.
Well, I'm going to connect you guys with Tiffany Love. I mean, she's on the roll getting this thing out in the open.
Hey, let me say one thing, just before, for the audience's sake. You mentioned the panel that you have, and it sounds like a great panel. But for the audience's sake, your participants, are they actually ministers in the community? Or are these actual individual participants, like members of the congregation? Just kind of set the stage for us, so Dr. Poe can kind of explain. And I think our audience will help. It will help them to understand what type of people are being administered to.
Right. Well, the group we had in Murfreesboro was made up of some professional people like funeral home directors, school teachers. There were some lay leaders in their churches. So a number of those people were of that nature. Now, at my church, when we held seminars at Great Pleasant View, and we have not stopped holding them, we will continue to do that. The audience has been church members mainly. The staff or the group leaders have been people like Dr. Poe, who is a psychiatrist. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. And then we have had people from Children's Services like Rhonda. She works with Children's Services for the state, and of course Monica's with the Sheriff's Department. So those are the people that are actually delivering the message, and our participants have been mainly church members, but we want to be able to not just administer to the church members, but to other people in the community, because we are trying to teach people how to listen to parishioners in the church. And sometimes it's a difficult thing, because most of the time, if you grew up in the church or if you know much about the church members are usually people that they just talk, and they don't give the person that may have a problem a chance to listen. So that's where our expertise comes in. I'm trained to actually listen to someone, even though I may talk a lot.
Yeah, don't say. Because he's still good.
But that's my expertise, is being able to listen and to understand and to restate in fresh language what a person is going through, and helps them maybe come to the realization of what they already probably knew, but they just needed someone to help them to that conclusion about what they needed to do in that situation. So I hope that answers your question.
That is a question, great. That kind of set the stage. I can hardly wait to hear this.
At the seminar in Murfreesboro, in our effort to offer a different perspective on depression and suicide, one of the points that we attempt to make is that depression and anxiety often, in addition, many other psychiatric problems and behavioral problems are often a manifestation of grief. And grief is basically a combination of anger, sadness, and fear primarily. Okay? And there are many things that can cause grief. Separation from a loved one, conflict with family or friends, conflict on the job, loss of income, loss of job, a physical illness. All right? There are many different sources of grief. And if that grief goes unrecognized, or even recognized but undealt with, okay, that grief can intensify and manifest in so many different ways. All right? And so depression, being driven by grief, is often an experience of pain. The person is really hurting, all right? And often they will turn to alcohol or drugs or food or sex, okay? Or they may begin to act out in an aggressive manner, or they may injure themselves. There are many ways that people try to escape from or to get rid of the pain or the grief in their life.
Dr. Poe, wow, I saw every time you said something, it's almost like that Michael Jackson thing. I'm black, I'm white. Because I saw so many faces to those descriptions. And it is really sad, as we talked about the children and young people that are going through this. You know, of course, I teach school, and I deal with a lot of emotional children. And when I look at that, if it's not dealt with, they go into adulthood, and it's really a shame for so many people, as I've always said, walking around undiagnosed. We all know something's not right, you know, but really, like you said, getting to the point for someone to accept that, and what they do, I go to church, I'll give it up to God, but you know, faith without works is dead. So you actually have to get out there and do some things too. You have your faith, but you have to do some things too. And I think half the battle is recognizing. So what I'm hearing that a lot of, and just what you're saying, there's so many people that I know, not being judgmental, but know that they are acting in those ways, and it's really nothing but depression.
Yes, and let me make another point too. You're right. There's quite a large numbers of people who are hurting, depressed, anxious, and they're undiagnosed. And therefore they're not getting the treatment they need. And so the result is a kind of an isolation. And so when you're hurting, if you isolate yourself by not sharing your pain with other people, all right, then the pain usually intensifies. And therefore you need somebody to be able to listen without being judged.
Absolutely.
That's where the professional counselor comes in. And of course, a wise friend also can be a good counselor. So persons who are hurting need someone that they can confide in, that they can share some of their pain with, because that tends to lessen your feeling that you're going through it alone. And that in itself is therapeutic.
Is there a number or an address if someone wants to contact you guys? Would you operate in the church? Let's give that information.
Well, they can always contact us through Real Ministries at 615-269-3824. They can reach my church at area code 615-373-8219, and they just need to identify that they would like to get the information to Houston Canard. But you know, Dr. Poe had said something that struck a bell with me as you were asking him and Mick was asking about what we do. The one thing that I found out, and I went to a conference at Meharry this week, actually Monday, and then the second one was held down at the public library downtown. But both of them had to do with warrior centric about you're a veteran, right? Right. So it's about veterans not getting the treatment, PTSD syndrome, things, TBI, traumatic brain injury. Those were things being discussed at this conference. Well, the people from Washington, D.C. had come down here to share with the people at Meharry, and then Nashville in particular, in Tennessee, because the governor even had a statement read during the course of this conference that there are so many veterans. I know we've been talking about children and teens, but I want to inject this into it because there are so many veterans who are coming from the wars. They're depressed. A lot of them cannot get treatment.
Wow.
And so the conference was aimed at just getting the word out that yes, there is help out there for the veterans, and that the workers in this area of mental health are not actually being utilized well enough. And matter of fact, the helping profession is not getting the message out. Just like today, you know, this that we are talking about is a message to the audience that there is help available for them, and we are here to help, and we want to help. They just contact us, and we're open. You know, I told my pastor I feel like I have a singing ministry. I feel like I have some ministry of evangelism and outreach. And truly, I think God has blessed me to be able to do a few things that I do. And one of the things that, and I'm going to leave this with you before we have to go, up out of my little singing. If I could help somebody as I pass along. If I could do my duty as a good man ought, if I could help somebody that is traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. And I could go on.
You got a brush on. Okay. I lost a little of my favorite, but hey, you got it. Yeah. So this is going to be, we talked about this, I think, sometime before about a concert. You're trying to do the fundraiser.
September the 28th,
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be doing another workshop
Okay.
in Murfreesboro. The same group that
Okay.
we did it with,
Okay.
they want us to come back.
Okay.
So people from Nashville, anywhere, it's open to them.
I'm
They can come.
available. So
Okay, yes, because you weren't able to come with us that, but they can reach us at 615-269-3824. But the other thing is that we are having a concert. I will be featured, and a lady named Sister Sharon Easley will be featured. Hopefully Reverend Williams will do a sermonette for us as my pastor.
Sure.
And it's going to be on October 19th. October 19th. And that's this year, 2013. So we'd be very happy for people to begin to mark their calendars now, so that we'll have different groups come and sing, individuals will do solos, and it'll be sort of a fundraiser for assisting Real Ministry in my church, and so we think that it's going to be a tremendous occasion.
Awesome.
Here's an opportunity. We in the Real Ministry try to bring in the spiritual. We try to help people see that so many problems can be solved if they're willing to give God first place.
Absolutely.
That's a major component that's often left out.
Yes, yes.
Among secular psychologists
Absolutely.
and psychiatrists.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's the point we try to make.
And this is the purpose of Real Ministries, really focusing on the church, because as we've talked about this often too, people think it's taboo to talk to a psychiatrist, a head doctor. I don't want to talk to them. So we also thinking that the preaching is enough. The preaching is good, but still that foundation that you don't open up, and like I said, areas where even in the church is lacking. But this is bringing more accountability. The professional side that you guys are bringing to the church, but you put it in more of a spiritual contact.
Right. There are a lot of people. There's still a stigma attached to quote unquote having a mental illness, and that's why a lot of the GIs and returning servicemen are not getting the help, because in their mind it's a negative thing to have a mental health issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so we have that same problem in the church. A lot of church members view it in a negative way. But if you begin to frame mental illness in not just psychological terms, but also in spiritual terms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've had a patient that said to me not too long ago, well, I used to think I used to think of mental illness as a psychological thing, or as if I was crazy. But now I'm beginning to see it's a spiritual problem, perhaps
Absolutely.
more so than a psychological
Yes,
problem.
sir.
So that perspective really helps.
That thing that he just said just struck another bell,
Yes.
because during that conference that I went to this week, they were talking just right along the lines that Dr. Poe just mentioned, that these guys coming back from the military who have been shooting and killing folks, some of them are finding out that maybe their PTSD or whatever this traumatic stuff that they're going through might not be so much psychological or psychiatric stuff, but it's a spiritual thing. One guy on the panel, he even broke it down to the group so well that he said he believes that he's still dealing with a spiritual aspect of the fact that he had, shot and killed so many people. Okay, so you out there on the battlefield, either you gonna shoot and kill somebody else, or somebody gonna shoot you and kill you. So, once you start thinking through that stuff, it is just tremendous what kind of pain and grief and depression that a person can go through and have nobody to talk to about it. Because these guys, back in the early wars, World War I and World War, They came back from the military and they were told to be quiet and not talk about their experiences. Well, now in the 21st century, it is becoming more prevalent that people coming from the military have been in the war, coming back home, are now able to open up a little bit more. It's still a lot of stigma there, but they're able to open up a little bit more and allow somebody like Dr. Poe or me to listen to them and then try to give them a new perspective or a fresh outlook on things. And so some of them are beginning to get help that they need, and others are now aware that there's more help out there that they can avail themselves to.
Well, I think we all know someone in our lives that could be going through this, and we don't know as individuals because we're not professionals. But it's a challenge, I think, is to figure out how to get people in touch with you. So what was that number one more time?
615-269-3824.
Man, I just want to thank you. I mean, we just never have enough time. And so, of course, we will be back talking more about this and talking more about your event. But I just want to thank you, Dr. Poe, for coming out, Dr. Kennard, and my brother, Mickey Taylor. Remember that God loves you, and so do we.